I'm going to read The Little House by Virginia Lee Burton. The little house was very happy as she sat on the hill and watched the countryside around her. She watched the sun rise in the morning. She watched the sun set in the evening. In the night she watched the moon grow from a thin new moon to a full moon and then back again to a thin old moon. And when there was no moon, she watched the stars. Way off in the distance, she could see the lights of the city. The little house watched the countryside slowly change with the seasons. In the spring, she watched for the first robin. She watched the grass turn green. She watched the buds on the trees swell and the apple blossoms burst into blossom. She watched the children playing in the brook. In the long summer days, she sat in the sun and watched the trees cover themselves with leaves, and the white daisies cover the hill. She watched the apples turn red. She watched the children swimming in the pond. In the fall, she watched the first frost turn the leaves to bright yellow and orange and red. She watched the harvest. She watched the apples picked. She watched the children going back to school. In the winter, she watched the children skating on the frozen pond and making snowmen, coasting and skating. Year followed year. The apple trees would grow old and new ones were planted. Now at night, the lights of the city seemed brighter and closer. Then one day the little house was surprised to see a horseless carriage coming down the road. Pretty soon there were more of them on the road, and fewer carriages were pulled by horses. Pretty soon along came a steam shovel and dug a road through the hill covered with daisies. Then some trucks with tar and sand, and finally a steamroller came and smoothed it all out, and the road was done. Now the little house watched the trucks and automobiles going back and forth to the city. Gasoline stations, roadside stands, and small houses followed the new road. Everyone and everything moved much faster now than before. More roads were made and more houses and bigger houses, apartment houses and tenement houses, schools and stores, garages crowded around the little house. No one wanted to live in her any more. No one wanted to take care of her. Now it was not so quiet at night. Now the lights of the city were bright and very close, and the street lights shone all night. The little house missed the field of daisies and the apple trees dancing in the moonlight. Pretty soon there were trolley cars going back and forth in front of the little house all day and part of the night. Everyone seemed to be very busy, and everyone seemed to be in a hurry. Pretty soon there was an elevated train going back and forth over the little house. The air was filled with dust and smoke. Now the little house couldn't tell when springtime came, or summer, or fall, or winter, and it all seemed about the same. Next there came a subway going back and forth underneath the little house. People were moving faster and faster. No one noticed the little house any more. They hurried by without a glance. Pretty soon they tore down the apartment houses and tenement houses around the little house, and they put up building up 25 stories on one side and 35 stories on the other. Skyscrapers. Now the little house only saw the sun at noon. and didn't see the moon or stars at night at all. At night she used to dream of the country and the field of daisies and the apple trees dancing in the moonlight. See how sad she looks? The little house was very sad and lonely. Her windows were broken. Her shutters were hung crookedly. She looked shabby, though she was just as good a house as ever underneath. Then one fine spring day, along came the great-great-granddaughter of the man who built the little house so well. She saw the shabby little house, and she said to her husband, "That looks just like the house that my grandmother lived in when she was a little girl. Only that little house was way out in the country." So they found out it was the very same house. So they went to the movers to see if the little house could be moved. The movers said, "Sure, this house is as good as ever. She's built so well we could move her anywhere." So they jacked up the little house and put her on wheels. At first the little house was frightened, but after she got used to it, she rather liked it. They rolled along the big road. They rolled along the little roads until they were way out in the country. Finally, they saw a little hill in the middle of a field of apple trees growing around. "There," said the great-great-granddaughter. "That's just the place." "Yes, it is," said the little house to herself. The windows and the shutters were fixed, and once again they painted her a lovely shade of pink. The little house smiled happily. Once again she could watch the sun and moon and stars. Once again she could watch spring and summer and fall and winter come and go. Once again she was lived in and taken care of. The end.